welcome to our third edition of Women Empowerment. I really like today's topic that we're going to discuss. I think it's going to be beneficial for all women to hear, not just in Africa, but also all over the world. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself and then introduce you guys. So I'm Jocelyne Mamvou, Dr. Jocelyne Mamvou. I'm the co-founder of the mission with Dr. Lucy Charlene Wafo. And as part of our vision, which is to provide like increase health equity, but also kind of provide free medical access to women of underserved community. Part of it also involves having this type of discussion to really educate those women because those are topics that we don't usually talk in our community. So I think it will be very beneficial. So that's a little bit about me. So I'm going to go ahead and then introduce Felicia. So let me just have a little bit of the bio. So Felicia, she's a business account manager. She holds a bachelor's of business administration in managerial sciences, and she also has an MBA in international business. She has over 6 years of experience in the insurance field, and she loves spending quality time with her family and traveling all over the world. And she's also the mother of 2 beautiful children. So welcome, Felicia. And then we have Johanne Kabiwa, who's an entrepreneur. She has a master's degree in economics and a dual bachelor degree with honors in business administration and in business studies. She's also the founder of Elite Beauty by Johanne K. And it's a thriving beauty store that offers a variety of high quality products. And she has a passion for beauty, as you can tell, and also mental health. And so she's a respected beauty contributor for Working Mama, which is a Cape Town-based magazine. And she's also the mother of 2 children. And last but not least, we have Sha-Shana Williams, who is a pharmacy business manager. She was born in Jamaica, and she's been residing in the United States since the age of 10. And she is a pharmacy business manager at Johns Hopkins with 3 years of experience in pharmacy technician recruitment, training, and development. And then she also loves spending quality time with loved ones and then traveling the world. And she's also an aspiring mother. So welcome, ladies. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So what does I guess motherhood mean to you? We have all grown up with variety of ideas about what motherhood is or mean. So for you guys, and this is not a question that there's a wrong or right, but just kind of share what motherhood means to you personally. And I guess we can go ahead and start with Sha-Shana.
Okay. Motherhood. Well, like you said, I'm an aspiring mother. So I do have a niece. To me, a mother is a person, doesn't have to necessarily give birth to that child, but is always there for that child, provide the love, the support. For my example, I was raised by my grandparents, my grandma. I'm sorry. I'm watching my sister's dog. Sorry, Mom.
That's fine.
Yeah, and even though, my mom was there and I knew who she was, my grandparents took on the role as a parent. My grandmother always made sure I was fed, taken care of, my education, everything of that sort. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who gave birth to you, but just a person that's there for you through everything, every part of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. I guess next we can move to Joanne.
Shanna, thank you so much for touching on the point that it doesn't have to be somebody who gave birth to you, because growing up, I'm really close to my parents, but my elder sister is like my mother. Like, when something happens to me, before even thinking about my parents, I always think I need to tell my sister first. So motherhood for me is the journey from carrying the kid to having the kid in your hand, and then while you have the kid, it's now education, and just it's a journey, and it's not a perfect journey.
Right. Yeah, thank you for that, Joanne. And then Felicia.
I totally agree. To me, motherhood is, I mean, the person that takes care of the child up to adulthood, like is that person that really care for that child. Yeah. So yeah, provide everything to that child, love, and I mean advices and stuff like that. So it's really that person who take care of that person, the child. Yeah. To me, that's motherhood.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you guys, because I think for me personally, to be honest, I thought initially growing up that motherhood was, give birth and that's when you become a mother. But then I'm realizing that after giving birth that, my daughter, whose name is Jay, I'm not her only mother, right? There's a whole village taking care and raising her. She has a lot of moms, aunties and uncle, a lot of dads that are also raising her. So definitely thank you for bringing that point up, that it doesn't only involve you giving birth, but it also involves like you taking care of other people's children and being part of their education and raising them as well. And so with that, I would say, how would you say that society then defines motherhood? So what are like the expectation of motherhood, by society? And would you say, like, how did that had an impact, I guess, on you? And I guess we can start, with Felicia. We'll go back.
I think that society view only motherhood as the person that gives birth to that person, like the birthing phase, being pregnant, carrying the child, and giving birth to that person. And but they don't. I mean, other than the birth mother, there's other people that take care of the child. I mean, to me, the mother is really the person that really carry for that child, I mean, take care of that child and really educate the child and everything. And also, I believe there's a lot of pressure on women. Once you have a child, you have to. I feel that people think that it's really easy to have that connection with your child. You have to be able to take care of the child. You have to understand your child all the time. You have to be perfect all the time, the perfect mom. And then, I mean, it doesn't come naturally. It takes time.
Yeah.
And you guys try. I mean, it's like being a couple. Like I get to know me, you get to know, you get to know each other, and it's a journey really. And people feel like you have to know everything, but nobody knows everything anyway. We learn every day. So yeah.
All
So,
right. Thank you, Felicia. How about you, Joanne?
I echo what Felicia said. I mean, it was the greatest mathematician who said that all I know is that I don't know anything. Going into motherhood, that is just how it is. You cannot say you know everything. You cannot say you're a perfect mom. I emphasize on the term perfect because, like Felicia said, we just live in this society where people just want you to be perfect. You have to be doing things according to, in the previous podcast, Marie Andre, I hope that's her name. She mentioned that now people live their life according to social media. Just because somebody posted, oh, her life looks so perfect on social media. No. Going back to the question, how is motherhood defined in today's society? People expect mothers to be perfect. They expect us to have a certain standard that was set by social media and celebrities. Those celebrities have multiple nannies, and probably when they're having those shows, they don't show them, and people are just, yeah. And I also want to touch on the fact that motherhood starts from even while you are pregnant, and then when you give birth. And what I really want people to know and to research on is postpartum depression, because people just assume the minute you give birth, you just have to go back. And it's Felicia again who mentioned that you just have to lose all that weight. You just have to. There's a lot. It's a whole thing that people, and people have to be a little bit more patient. We live in a very judgmental society. People have to be patient and understand that my journey cannot be the same as your journey, you know, and be understanding. If my friend just gave birth and she's acting all up, and when I gave birth, it was a breeze. No, we cannot have the same journey. You are not in her head. You don't know what's going on mentally with her. So society is just is too judgmental on mothers, and we have to really try not to copy what's going on social media, because what people are posting most of the time is not their reality. So that is that's what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joanne. That's really good. And then Sha-Shana.
Oh, I third everything that Felicia and Joanne said. And I think with the social media concept, it's not showing when you guys are breaking down, or when you give birth and the baby's crying, or you're first time moms and you're trying to figure out what's going on with the baby because they can't talk. It's not showing all of that process of what you guys are going through, but automatically they're assuming, oh, a mother is perfect. A mother cannot make mistakes. Well, when we were kids, our parents made a lot of mistakes that we didn't necessarily agree with, you know? And as we got older, that's when we understood that, hey, our parents, yeah, when we're little, they are role models and they are superheroes, especially our moms, but they're not perfect. They make mistakes. They're learning just like how we're learning. So I second and third everything you guys said.
Yeah, and I like that you guys brought the social media aspect, because that I feel like has really, because when we were growing up, and I really want to know how motherhood was when, you know, there wasn't any social media, because with social media now, I feel like it adds even to the pressure that society was already putting on women. And now, you know, like you say, I think Joanne is the one who mentioned it. It's not realities, social media. So even if it means that taking a break away from it, you know, so be it. But definitely social media has definitely not helped in the aspect of, you know, empowering women to be mothers and caregivers. So
can I quickly add?
Yes, go ahead, Joanne.
And with me personally, social media is a business tool. I know people just see Instagram and this Facebook, the thing is for posting selfies and all of it. I'm not an expert in social media, but because when I started my business, I realized that when it comes to business, the cheapest way to market is through social media. So every single post, most of 80% of my posts are strategic compared to maybe other people just posting because I don't know, to show, you know. I wish other people could understand that. And now I want to quickly add something on entrepreneurship. When it comes to social media and entrepreneurship, a lot of entrepreneurs complain that marketing is quite expensive, and it's true. And social media is the cheapest form of marketing that you can get. And how do you get about it? Go onto YouTube, you learn. Everything is on YouTube for free. So anybody who will be watching this podcast, I hope it will inspire you, because as a mother, we got so many things to do at the same time that sometimes marketing doesn't come that easy. And I feel social media has helped me a lot. And
to all the mompreneurs out there. So thank you for the shout out, Joanne. And I guess we can go to our next question, as far as like how did we touch a little bit on that, but like how did motherhood kind of like affected your not only your entrepreneurship, for those of you who are entrepreneur, but also your career path for those who, you know, you who are in the career space. And then for Sha-Shana, you as an aspiring mother, had us the desire to, you know, plan, you know, to have a family one day. All that plan, how did that factor into your career, even into your personal life? I guess we can start with Sha-Shana and then go with Felicia and Joanne.
Well, I've asked other females this question as well, because my manager that works with me, she has 2 young babies. And sometimes she beats herself up when she has to leave work to, maybe when the child is sick and she has to go to the daycare and pick them up, and she's beating herself up because she's thinking about what other people might think about her, that she has to leave work to go pick them up, or, maybe one of them has to leave early or something like that. And I have a lot of pharmacists and people around me who worry about things like that, or some employees, they feel like they're going to lose their job if they leave work too early, or they're always constantly calling out. And it puts me on two different levels, because I'm like, okay, this is my career. This is what I work hard for. Like my mom, when I was growing up, she didn't work, it was my grandparents taking care of me. And I told myself that I wanted more for myself when I came up here. And being in Jamaica, it's a different country and we have more opportunities in the US. So, I took advantage of all the opportunities that was afforded to me, because I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for something better in the future. And then if I have kids, I'm not dependent on other people to take care of my children. I can take care of them myself, but then seeing the opposite end of it, you're working so hard to get to that point, but then you still have society or your coworkers or whoever, you're in this role of power, you're in this role of management, and they're because some of them don't have kids, they're automatically assuming, oh, you're brushing your work off, or you're not trying to understand that this is actually something that happens to moms. Like your kid can get sick, anything can happen, and you just have to drop what you're doing and go and take care of that situation. So I'm kind of in both, and trying to, I'm still trying to see how she balances it out, because she's harder on herself than people are harder on her. So that was my answer.
That's a good perspective. Thanks, Shana. Guess we can go with Felicia.
I mean, being a parent, I mean, your kid is supposed to, your children are supposed to be your first priority at the end of the day, I think. I think you have to be, what can I say? You have to be able to prioritize and try, especially you have to be able to be organized. You need to organize your day, and you have to have like a good system, like a good support system, like family or friends that can help you when you need to. And then also, I made a choice I'm working from home actually, so I made that choice. It's easier for me. It gives me more flexibility, stuff like that. So maybe you have to arrange, maybe if it's possible. I know people have different career paths and everything. You have to be able to organize your day around your children, around their schedule. If you have a good support system, that's the first and most thing. You have to really good. Somebody else can go and then go to the daycare instead of you to pick up the child, stuff like that. And also sometimes you do have to really slow down your career first. I have to be honest, sometimes you do have maybe to slow down certain activities or your career because of the children. And once they go, at the end of the day, they will grow. So once they're really older, like 10, that's past 5 or past 10, they'll be more independent, and then it'll be easier for you. So you have to be able to, be flexible, try to reorganize your life and try to find a good support system around you. Maybe work from home, maybe slow down a little bit for a couple of years, and then after you can pick it up and then pick up yourself and then continue. Yeah. But it's a sacrifice. Having kids is like sacrificing yourself. Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, thank you, Felicia. Great. That's a great point. And then Joanne.
I would say the challenges that I face has more to do with time management, because it's a lot to juggle being a mom, a spouse, and a business. So time management, and if, like Shana and Felicia said, we just have to organize ourselves a little bit better.
Yeah, and I actually want to follow up on that, Joanne, because you're an entrepreneur and you also have 2 kids, right? So first, let me touch on Felicia's point, because I like during the French panel, we kind of touch on how it sometimes it's kind of like a plus or minus system, right? In some aspects, some phases of your life, yes, you entrepreneur, you best at it, that's the best thing you do, you also raising your kids and all that. And then some other aspect, maybe your career is not all the way there yet, or maybe you don't have the role that you're aiming for, right? And I think it's okay, because another point, social media kind of makes us feel like, especially with all the entrepreneurs that we see now, especially since COVID, it makes you feel like your life is behind if you haven't started something yet. And then the second thing I wanted to touch on was, Joanne, you being an entrepreneur, with kids and all that, like, how is it for you, like trying to manage everything?
This is a really good question, and it is not easy. It's not easy. I should just put it out there. But I must say, the support system, again, Felicia, you mentioned that. I am so grateful to have a husband that understands that now this is my time to try. Because if I tell you, there's a time where it was so difficult in my marriage, because me depending on my husband financially, and me not being happy about that, because I have to take care of the kids and I have all these degrees.
Right.
You can literally go insane thinking
Right.
I could be doing so many things with my life. So when I started my business, I had a really, really long conversation with my husband that, look, this is what's going to be happening. And it will require you to step in at some point. And are you okay with that?
Right.
And we had an agreement. And yeah, he said he will support us financially or emotionally with time, because time is expensive, guys. Time. Hey, as an entrepreneur, you value
money.
Yeah.
Literally. When people say time is money, you go like, oh, they're just saying it. Time is literally money.
Yeah.
The managing of the time is, so it's not easy. And I'm just grateful for the support that I have from my husband, my sister as well, because she's also here in South Africa. And I recently started having a business coach. Business coaching with my entrepreneurial journey is just, it's really good. It's like the icing on top of the cake, because it helps you, already as a mom and a spouse and an entrepreneur, it's a lot. Now the business coach, my coach is just the best, Rita. Hopefully she'll watch the podcast. The business coach come in with a really different approach, especially that they have the expertise, and they cut you the time of going and doing so many research. The business coach is there for that coaching that will also, I will get a little bit of time now that I can redistribute with family time or spousal time or my business. I hope I've answered your question.
You did. And what I remember, or at least what I'm getting from this, is first being content in the phase of life where you are, right? If you are at a stage where you haven't launched anything yet, and I'm glad you touched on that, Joanne, it wasn't always like this. There was a time where, marriage was impacted and you were taking care of the kids. And then there came a time where now you became an entrepreneur. So kind of like, being first content in the phase where you are. And then when you mentally prepared, obviously the partner being involved in the conversation is huge, because you cannot do it alone. So being able to have those discussions with your partner, or even your village, people in your village, to kind of like support you as you launch those projects. But I think the first thing is really being content where you are first. And then when you're ready to launch, if entrepreneur is your the route that you desire, kind of have those conversations and start, getting ready for those. So thank you for touching on that journey. And I guess now kind of pivot to what we kind of we already kind of talked a little bit about, tips, right? So for Sha-Shana, like the specific question that I have for you is like, what tips would you have for, women who desire to have a kid and, who are also being overwhelmed by society pressure, by social media pressure, because you are in that phase. So kind of like, what tips do you share for other women out there?
I would say just take your time and only do it when you're ready, because one thing with me, I sometimes dislike family functions. I'm 34, right? And I go to a family function and the first thing they ask is, so when are you gonna have me? And I'm just like,
the Christmas parties, yes.
It was like, it never used to happen to me, you guys, until like 2 years ago. They would ask somebody else those questions and all of a sudden they turn their attention to me and I'm just looking like, can y'all stop watching me, please? But You know, it's you have society's pressure, you have family pressure. My dad the other day asked the same question because I'm the oldest out of all my siblings. And you know, that already
That
comes with a
pressure
certain
too.
kind of standard, or you know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but just take your time. And I always say I pray to God, and if he thinks it's time, then it's time. And I'm the type of person that really don't let that bother me, because I still think that my niece is my kid. I tell people all the time,
Right.
my sister had my child for me, you know,
Yeah.
until I have until I have my child. But just take your time and just know that when God is ready to give you one, if that's in your plan, then that he will give you one when it's time, when he seems that it's time for you. Honestly.
Right. And yeah, I like that you touch on that, the aspect, you know, like your creator, whenever it's really time, that will come. And I know it's not easy because, you know, like as you desire kids to, and even when you have already one kid, you're trying for like the next one, you know, I'm sure Johanne and Felicia can attest to that. You know, you don't control the time portion. You don't know when it will happen. There are so many things going with trying to conceive, right? So you can't really tell when things are going to happen exactly. So I definitely agree with you as far as like kind of like being patient and rely, you know, continue. If Christian or whatever religion is your thing, kind of like, you know, continue to rely on that and continue to like keep on your faith as you go on this journey, because the pressure will never stop, right? Like you say, and there will always be parties, there will always be Christmas holidays or Easter holidays where family is just going to look at you some type of way. And, you know, as the age goes up too, there's just going to be more and more pressure. So yeah, definitely I like your advice of take heart and kind of be patient, rely on your faith. And so for Johanne and Felicia, you know, for you guys, it's kind of like, what tips will you share with other women as far as kind of like balancing your motherhood with your career or your entrepreneurial ventures? You know, like Felicia, I know for you, like with your career, you had to balance things out over the years. And then with you, Johanne, it seems like you had to balance things out with your entrepreneurship journey. So what tips do you have for other women? I can start with Felicia.
I'm going to repeat myself. I really think that you have to be organized. Planning is the best advice, like the best thing that you can do for your life in general. Like your life in general, you need to plan your life. You have to be organized. You have to plan your day. Okay, today I'm going to do this, and plan around your children's schedule. Actually, that's the thing. So at what time is supposed to eat and sleep, or when they sleep, you're able to do something else. So you really have to organize your life that way. Yeah, you have to plan. You have to plan.
Yeah.
You can write it
No,
down.
that's true.
You can have notes on your phone, whatever you have to do. But it's really important to plan. And then, all aspects of your life, even at work, you have to plan your day. So it's the same. You have to plan.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And then again, the support system, people around that can help you. So yeah, I think that's the best. The two tips: plan your day, and have people that you can rely on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, planning is definitely, I think it's definitely something I'm struggling with, but I do notice that when you definitely plan out your day, you kind of like more productive.
Yeah, because when you plan, you're like overwhelmed, like there's so many things happening at the same time. When you plan, it's easier. My mom used to have a list. She always had a list. Like I used to make fun of her, like, "Why are you doing it?" She's always writing down.
Okay, ended up like her.
Tuesday, this, and then Wednesday, this. And now I understand why. It's really easier, way easier when you're able to plan.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And yeah, the village aspect too is important. Like wherever women are, like make sure to find yourself a village locally. It's so important because we can't do this alone. That's just the facts. Even if social media kind of like we bless the single mothers, but it's not something that's meant for a single person to take care of. It's a huge burden. So yeah, good one. And then Joanne.
Oh, sorry, can I add something else?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I think people are too hard on themselves. You have so much expectation. I don't even know why. Don't be hard on yourself. You can only you can only live your life once. Enjoy your life, seriously. You don't have to be perfect and good at everything. It's okay. It's okay. Really, it's okay. Yeah. It's not an issue.
Thank you, Felicia. Go ahead,
Thank
Joanna. I
you,
was thinking you want to
Felicia.
jump in.
Yes, your last point, actually, I was going to start with that, that at this point, you have to really don't be too hard on yourself. And I wanted to add on what Dr. Jocelyne mentioned when she said the season, respect your season. Guys, if you start thinking about how I'm currently in this specific season, how about I take a moment and analyze what is going on in this season and really, really take the time to live that specific season. It's very important. Like, that is one of the things that really made me and it's making me appreciate where my life is right now, because where I was, I could really, really be in that moment, and then now I've moved on to something else. Okay, when it comes to advice, I would say manage your time properly. Like Felicia again mentioned, you really have to be organized in whatever you have to do in life. You have to be organized, because that's the only way that you get things done. If you set your goals, you have to set your goals to be really, how did they say, smart goals or smart objectives. It has to be really not too big for something, not too big for you not to achieve, something that you can achieve. And then surround yourself with people that you know that have your best interest at heart, that are there to support. In the French podcast, I mentioned getting advice from other people who have been there before. I just want to add, yes, it's good to get the advice. And I think it was Felicia who added that just make sure that you filter the advice, because what I went through is not necessarily what you went through. So your advice might not fit into my lifestyle, So just filter the advice when you are getting it from the others that have walked the path. What else? So the time management, getting support, getting advice from others, and don't be too hard on yourself, like Felicia mentioned. Like, really don't be. You only have one life to live, and really don't. I like that. I think once we're done here, I'll make a post on my Instagram. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Please
Yes.
do. Yeah, and mental health month is coming, so I think it's definitely needed at this time. And I think and yeah, I definitely agree with you guys, what you guys say about, like, please don't be too hard on yourself, because sometimes even when you relax and you take some time to step back, society and social media still make you feel like you're already being lazy, even if you take a step back for like a week. So I definitely appreciate that. And it's a journey. We are all learning. We are all moving out one step at a time. But I definitely thank you for like the tips that you guys share. I think it's definitely going to impact and definitely going to help our women. Even me, I know I took some notes and I was like, time management, it needs to improve. And one thing I want to add definitely is about the therapy part. Even when you guys mentioned the support, I think that's something definitely that needs to be talked more. It's okay to, like, talk to a therapist. It can be therapists, or it can be your sisters, or like your friends, but just make sure you have someone, a confident person that you can talk to, because it's definitely, and you don't need to wait till you have depression, clinically diagnosed depression, to seek out the therapy. So that's definitely something that, I will definitely add to that as well. So thank you, women. I think you guys are all wonderful. I appreciate your time. And I think even in the future, as we continue to do more edition of the women empowerment panels, will definitely stay in touch with you guys. As you guys know, there's so many topic going behind like women empowerment, right? There's like mental health, there's like even financial literacy, there's like motherhood. So we'll definitely make sure to keep in touch with you guys to bring you guys back, because I know you guys have a lot more to share. So thank you, and definitely have a great day.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just
Thank
end the
you.
recording. Thank you, Joanne. Okay.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.